Well, today was the first big family swim day, so you can see that the water is not as clear as it normally is. It'll be mostly clear in a couple hours. By the morning, it'll be crystal clear like it never got swam in. But there's a bunch of floaties because that's what happens when you swim in a pond, stir up stuff. I just cleaned out the skimmer and it'll probably be full again in about 2 hours. And then I'll clean it back out, maybe in the morning or something. But it only takes like 2 minutes to clean out and it's not a big deal. I didn't clean it up for about a week and nothing really happens. It just doesn't skim. But water's 65 on average, like 69 at the top, 60 at the bottom. And so it's quite refreshing, but it's also still March. And I had the floating planter thing. I wanted to show you that. So I had a styrofoam floating planter that was right here, and it worked well. I liked it. It just wasn't real. Like it looked good. It worked well, but it didn't look good. Is what I meant to say. I had other floating plants in there, floating water lettuce, and then the hyacinth. I think yeah, hyacinth. Those died in the winter. And doesn't look like they're coming back. So after thinking about it quite a bit, I came up with this floating planter situation, which seems to be working quite well. I've got just a little bit of styrofoam underneath. This is a pallet. This is a black plastic pallet that has been turned upside down, and I cut out some of the pieces that I don't need. And then I put this, which is shade cloth. So it's very porous for the roots to get through the bottom just fine, but it won't allow the clay pebbles to go down through. Otherwise, the pallet itself is like a big grate, and it would have just allowed the clay pebbles to sink through. It would not have retained the pellets. So I put the shade cloth in the bottom of the pallet, and then put the clay pebbles in it, and then transferred all my plants over. So there's a bunch of plants that don't look like much right now, but that's because they're brand new. This is a landscaping edge border, and all I did is I wrapped it around and I welded it to the pallet. I tried gluing it, adhesive, epoxy stuff, and it just wasn't working that well, so I just took the time and welded it all the way around. And then a couple pieces of foam on the bottom for it to float. It's naturally buoyant, but not enough to support, probably 20 pounds of clay pebbles, and eventually it's going to be 10 pounds of plants or something that's in there. And I put the bucket of water on there just to give it extra weight to push it down into the water so that the water is more accessible to the roots. Otherwise, the roots can't get all the way down to the water. Let me show you. So the water is actually at least an inch under the pebbles, if not more in some places. And that's because the bucket of water is weighing it down. And over time, it will get lower and lower because the clay pebbles will absorb more water and the plants will get heavier and whatnot. And the roots will get deeper. So eventually that bucket of water will come off, probably in a couple months, or I don't know, we'll see, a couple weeks, who knows. And then it will probably raise up a little bit, but should be fine. The roots should still be able to get the water that they need to. So that's an exciting project. I've got 3 more of those plants. I'll have 4 of those total, hopefully. eventually at some point, not anytime soon. But I think this prototype will probably keep for a while, maybe for the whole summer, and just kind of see how it does. That'll all go away. That black ring, the garbage, the plants that won't come back. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on. Family enjoyed their swim time today. I'm really liking some of the plants more than I thought. Like there's a flowering monkey seed, I think is what it's called in here. It's super fun plant. The umbrella plants are really fun. I forget the exact names of all these. And then I pulled some mossy stuff out of the mountain creeks, and some of it's really cool the way it grows. I put some over there on the cement pillar for the dock, and it's growing, like attaching itself to the cement pillar and growing up the pillar. It looks awesome. Let me show you the bags of clay pebbles that I used. So these are the clay pebble bags, 1.4 cubic feet, 40 liters, and that floating planter took 2.5 bags of that. So all in all, one of those floating planter things cost me probably $100. Most of that is those clay pebble things are super expensive, but they work really well, because if you fill that thing with rocks, it's going to sink pretty quick. So yeah, pretty cool update. Plants are coming in good, and it's not even April yet. It's awesome.